I did want to take this opportunity to introduce a couple other people who are with us here this evening from the Hueneme Elementary School District, Dr. Christine Walker, Superintendent. Keep it down, educators, keep it down. From the City of Port Hueneme Police Chief Andrew Salinas. I could not do what I do without an amazing board of directors, and I have three of them here this evening. Ms. Jessica Fuentes from Ventura County Credit Union. Mr. Tony Suleiman, State Farm Agent, right here in Port Hueneme. And Ms. Dawn Hamilton of Ventura Adult and Continuing Education. She was the young lady selling the little boxes. So if you had an opportunity to buy a box, that was John. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about some people who have made an impact in our community. You may have heard the saying, heroes aren't the ones wearing capes and masks. They're the ones wearing dog tags. The community of Port Hueneme is built around these heroes, and it's fitting that we honor them tonight. No one volunteers for service expecting accolades. In fact, military men and women are arguably some of the most humble you will ever meet. Military life is a life of sacrifice and service, and the Port Hueneme Chamber is proud to honor our military community members' commitment to making America the land of the free because of the brave. Tonight we're honoring two of our active duty service members. Right now I'd like to bring up to the stage Master Chief Jimenez, who will introduce our first recipient.
Thank you, Tracy. Distinguished guests, Hueneme Chamber of Commerce, friends and family, and most importantly, our awardees for this night. Good evening. My name is Master Chief Jimenez. I'm with Naval Construction Group 1, and I'm very proud to present Petty Officer Marler tonight. It's an extreme pleasure to share this night with you, especially to see one of my sailors being recognized. Petty Officer Marler, I'm going to take a little bit of the credit for this night. So don't mind me, I got the podium, so I'm in charge right now. But seriously, we know I had nothing to do with this. When I got to the group, you were already doing the things you were doing. You're already performing as a leader that us as senior leaders look forward in someone that's going to replace us someday. Recently, Petty Officer Mahler was recognized by the Navy Expeditionary Combat Command as a Shore Sailor of the Year. On top of that, being our Naval Construction Group Sailor of the Year. To put in perspective, he was basically one of the, amongst hundreds of first classes that were chosen as one of the best in our community. So what led him to be here? There's a lot of stuff. His sustained superior performance, command impact, mission contribution, proven leadership, dedication, self-improvement, and selflessness, just to name a few. As the Movement Control Center West leading petty officer, I suggest a fancy word for someone that does a lot of work in a division in our command. He was in charge of 6 instructors in the development and delivery of embark training through cargo preparation, aircraft load certification classes, embark movement systems, and exercise for various units. He coordinated 5 exercises via air, 1 via surface, and multiple of other events to get our units ready for deployment. His efforts directly resulted in units being able to coordinate and execute deployments all over the world. He oversaw a team of 6 in the coordination, tracking, and execution of 18 flights, encompassing over 2,000 personnel and 400 tons of baggage and equipment to deploy across the globe. His leadership contributed to other sailors being recognized as Sailors of the Quarter, Instructors of the Quarter, Expeditionary Warfare Qualified, and Master Training Specialist Qualified. This is probably one of my proudest achievements that you've done. You made those around you better, and that's what we look in for leaders. His heavy involvement with the First Class Petty Officer Association as Vice President contributed to increased participation in volunteer hours with the command and local community. On top of that, he still did his higher education, pursuing his organizational management degree while still being a husband and father to his kids, Zayden and Charlotte. I can go on and on, all the great things that he's done for our community this last year. The sky's the limit for this young man. You are going places, my friend. You are going places. But let's not forget the support you had to get here. No, it's not me. I know you're looking at me. She's right next to you. Bridget, thank you for your continued support to your husband's career. I know that you have played a significant role in his success, and I want to make sure you recognize as well. Many times we forget that our families sacrifice just as much as we do. Thank you for your family's courage, strength, and sacrifice. I've said enough. I'd like to welcome Petty Officer Mahler to the stage, please.
It's my first time. Good evening. I have to pause and make sure that I say good evening because I always say good morning. It just naturally comes out, so I'll take a step for that. Thank you everyone for being here. It means a lot to me. Like Master Chief said, we didn't get here by ourselves. I've got support from the community. I've got support from my family. I've got support from my leadership. My junior troops chose to follow me. It's definitely something that means a lot to me. So having all of you here to help recognize all of us in that way means a lot to me. It's very humbling, and I'm very grateful. Thank you very much.
To introduce our next military honoree, I'd like to welcome Command Master Chief Laurie to the stage.
Good evening, everybody, and I want to thank you all for supporting tonight's event. Special thanks goes out to the Port Hueneme Chamber for hosting this wonderful event tonight. And Tracy, thank you very much for being the face behind making this all happen and all the other events that are done successfully. So we want to give you a round of applause. On behalf of Naval Base Ventura County, we're all here to recognize MA1 Master at Arms First Class Kyle Romelia and his outstanding support network, his wife Chantel. Let's please give her a round of applause for supporting him. MA1's daily duties, they're vast. They're across a wide range of over 3 sides of the installation, from Port Hueneme to Point Mugu and St. Nicholas Island. It entails being the security department's leading petty officer responsible for day-to-day operations, for managing over 225 civilians and military personnel. He is also our anti-terrorism training officer, lead for our installation, who is responsible for training exercises, best practices, and combating everyday threats in and around our base. He plays an important role in investigating criminal cases with our partner agencies, following the community partnerships to help grow our relationships with them. His superior service that he provides to the Department of Defense also carries over into his personal life. by completing his bachelor's degree this year in cybersecurity. His willingness to give back to the community is by no far a small feat. He actively is involved in coaching pony baseball, Boy Scouts of America, career days throughout the community, Ventura County Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, and a host of other that support the Navy and our great community that we live in. In the last year alone, MA1 Bromelia has been awarded 2 Navy Achievement Medals for his outstanding support to the mission, and also his Military Outstanding Volunteer Service Medal. He was also Naval Base Ventura County's Sailor of the Year for 2018 and has been selected to become a limited duty officer for the United States Navy. These contributions are why we are here to recognize him tonight for all that he and his team have done to make our nation a better place. Please help me in congratulating MA1 Bromelia on these outstanding contributions. MA1, please join us up at the podium.
All right, thank you very much, Master Chief. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is MA1 Bromelia from Naval Base Ventura County. It is an absolute honor to be standing here tonight and joining with you guys in this dinner. Before I get started, I just want to say special thanks to my wife, Chantel. She's been with me for 7 years throughout deployments, missions, early mornings, late nights, and plenty of phone calls saying, hey, make dinner for the kids because I will be home tomorrow. So thank you, Chantel. I want to give thanks to Captain Chisholm, Commander Posey, Command Master Chief Laurie, and the other members of the Naval Base Ventura County Triad and Chain of Command who provided me with outstanding guidance and mentorship during my time on this installation. So thank you very much, and thank you for developing me into the sailor that I am today. I also want to give special thanks to the men and women, the first responders, the military members that are currently deployed and standing the watch, who are protecting us against those that go bump in the night so we can enjoy this dinner. So please, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our first responders. And thank you, Hueneme Chamber of Commerce. You guys have been outstanding in taking care of our community, the small businesses, the infrastructure, and other organizations that despite multiple wildfires, flooding, mudslides, and active shooter, you guys have kept us going as a community, and we're eternally appreciative for what you've done. So thank you very much, and thank you for allowing me to be here with you tonight.
Often, young people talk about being a fighter as a career choice, citing the inviolable schedules and ample amounts of downtime between calls they hear are part of the deal. It's true, most days they are not out there fighting giant 3-alarm blazes. They probably don't even actually rescue that many kittens and trees. Frank Viscu, firefighter and author of Step Up and Lead, said, "What makes firefighters courageous in my eyes isn't what they do day in and day out. It's what they are willing to do at any given moment. What looks like a life of relatively easy work is punctuated often by highly stressful, extremely dangerous trips to the store for steaks. And the accidents, medical emergencies, and actual fires also require no small amount of coping skills. These next awards honor our fire crew members who in Port Hueneme roll on every single emergency call, as well as fighting fires when necessary." Tonight, to introduce to you the Firefighter of the Year from Naval Base Ventura County, please help me welcome Chief Gerald Clark.
Good evening, everyone. I'm a little challenged tonight. I had to follow a very eloquent speaker, and I also forgot my reading glasses. So, but I know about Fire Engineer Torres, so it's easy to speak about him. But first, I'd like to thank our special guest and also the Chamber of Commerce for having this event and recognizing those folks. Thank you. Firefighter engineer Cesar Torres was, I know I wasn't supposed to do a bio kind of thing, but I do want to give a little bit of background on him, if that's all right. He was born and raised in the San Fernando Valley, and he's been a firefighter for about 15 years. And he served his country in various capacities, and one of them was he served 6 years active duty with the U.S. Air Force. He also did a tour in Iraq, and in there he was not only a firefighter, he was part of a special task force called Rapid Air Mobility Squad. So they were teamed with the Army, and he actually flew on Black Hawks doing rescue missions for downed aircraft and also vehicles that were exploded by IEDs. So he served his country in numerous capacities, and he continues to serve his community and serve his country here with us. When he came back, he started working as a civilian for Edwards Air Force Base Fire Department. And then we got wind of him, and we stole him from Edwards Air Force Base. And so we're always looking for really good people, and he's one of the best. He came to our program, and he was already an expert in many areas. Hazardous materials specialist, rescue technician, all the different kinds of firefighting. And since he came here, he's a really good firefighter and a specialist at all those things, but he picks up all those programs that makes the fire department work day to day. He runs our PPE program, which is our protective clothing, our SCBAs. He takes care of all that for all of our firefighters. He also has a hand in our emergency medical service program. So that's a big task to keep all the firefighters trained, certified, and qualified to provide that care out to the community. So when they're out there saving lives, they're doing it because he's enabled them to be able to do that, in addition to his job as a firefighter. He also is a hazmat specialist, and he's part of our hazmat program. So he has like the highest level of training for doing hazardous materials response, weapons of mass destruction, terrorism. And so we're really lucky to have him as part of our team. And he just does so many things that enables our department to actually be out there saving lives. And it's greatly appreciated. And he doesn't toot his horn. He's a quiet professional. So he just makes things happen. And I was remarking to the guys that no matter how much pressure you put on him, how many tasks he does, how many things he's saddled with, he's always calm, cool, has a smile on his face. I don't know how he does it. He also does a lot of things off duty. He volunteers with the church. He does other community programs, and he likes to travel with his family. And I would like to mention his family. His wife Melissa, and he has 2 sons, Elijah and Benjamin. But I'd like to thank you, Melissa, for allowing him to spend his time with us and allowing him to serve the community. He probably spends half his life with us and out serving the community. And I know in that time you make sacrifice of having to take care of things at home. So we appreciate that too. So for all these things and more, I wanted to recognize Fire Engineer Cesar Torres as our Firefighter of the Year. Thank you. Come on up, Cesar.
Thank you, Chief Clark. It's an honor to be selected as Firefighter of the Year for our department. I know it's a big, prestigious thing, and I hold dear, and it's an honor and very humbling. Thank you to Hueneme Commerce for doing this. Thank you thank you. Humbling, really appreciate it, and hopefully continue to just make everybody proud. Thank you.
You'll notice in your program that we also recognize a firefighter from Ventura County Station 23. Unfortunately, Captain Mike Fine could not be with us this evening, but we will be forwarding his awards and certificates to him. Just to confirm or let everybody know, all of the award recipients, in addition to the Crystal Award, are receiving certificates from the city, county, state assembly, state senate, and Congresswoman Julia Brownlee's office, as well as the Port of Hueneme. And thank you to all of those elected officials who are recognizing the members of our community as well. Peacekeeping is not easy work. Each time one of our officers goes to work, they know that there's a chance they may not go home. They go to work to protect us, to keep our city safe, to ensure we can go about our lives free from fear. The Hueneme Chamber of Commerce is proud to highlight the invaluable work of our police department by honoring one of them this evening. Perhaps remind the few, if ill they speak of them, that cops are all that stand between the monsters and the weak. To introduce our Officer of the Year, please help me welcome Chief Salinas.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to do something a little bit differently here because Chris isn't used to speaking in front of crowds, so I want to make sure he gets his fair share of time up here. So I'm going to have him come up right now and stand right here so you can all take a nice good look at him. Come on up, Chris. Plus, I need to get this going because it's almost past my bedtime, as I'm sure it's almost past yours. And his wife, Leanne, who's joined us this evening, is 8 months pregnant, and we don't want to run into any trouble there in terms of having something happen unexpectedly. So Tracy asked, hey, don't just read the biography, speak from your heart. So here are my written notes. I'm not reading from the biography. I'm ready to go. And so to introduce to everyone, Officer Chris Taylor and I met almost 8 years ago in the city of Oxnard, where he actually began his law enforcement career as a traffic service assistant. That's where I really learned what Chris was all about. I learned about his work ethic. I learned about his passion for his desire to be a police officer one day. So he eventually came to the city of Port Hueneme and was hired as a reserve police officer and decided that he was going to work for free. He did that for 2.5 years. So I think the taxpayers of Port Hueneme should give him a round of applause for working for free. He soon realized, wait, I can get paid for this? So we would hire him 2.5 years later, and here he is. He is a proud member of the Port Hueneme Police Department. We are appreciative of everything that he does. He works as our range master. He works as our driving instructor. He's one of our traffic investigators, and he recently just helped us get our newly formed drag program started that many of you have seen. We have a brand new drag car now at the police department that was donated by BMW of North America, and he was responsible for that. And if many of you don't know what the drag program is, it stands for Drag Racing Against Gangs and Graffiti, and it gives high school age youth the opportunity to work in the automotive industry, and they actually get high school credits for this program, after school program. So we now have this program going thanks to Officer Chris Taylor. Something else? Oh, thank you. So we at the police department do appreciate Officer Chris Taylor for all his hard work and dedication at the Port Hueneme Police Department, as do his coworkers. He's received a number of accolades and commendations that I can't list them all because we'd be here all night, seriously. And so we are thankful for that. He is joined this evening by his wife, Leanne, that I mentioned earlier. And so without further ado, and before we actually have a childbirth in this room, I want to introduce to you everyone the 2018 Port Hueneme Police Officer of the Year, Officer Chris Taylor.
Well, thank you for everyone for coming here. Thank you, my love, for being here and supporting me through my endeavors to be a police officer. I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you.
So, Chief, aren't you like trained? If the baby comes, you can handle it. I think we got this. I think we got this. And Chris also, I promised one of the tables in the back I would give this shout out. Chris has brought the largest contingent of people ever, almost 3 full tables. It has been said that a good teacher is like a candle. It consumes itself to light the way for others. Teachers have awesome schedules, short work days, lots of vacation days off, a whole summer to do cool stuff. But let's look deeper. Short work days? How about up early to get in before the kids and set up the classroom for the day, and up late grading papers and assignments? Lots of vacations? Many teachers are in their classrooms on vacation days or take work home with them. Day off? Yay! A whole day to grade papers without interruptions. Summer, usually spent dissecting last year's lesson plans and analyzing what worked and what didn't, then reworking it to make it better, attending seminars on how to be more effective, or get this, teaching. Summer school is awesome. Teachers shape the next generation of leaders, and they deserve recognition for all they do. And to help introduce our co-recipients this year, first time ever, please help me welcome Dr. Christine Walker to the stage.
Thank you, Chamber. And we also are going to do something a little bit different. As Tracy mentioned, really wanting to have the people who are the closest to our 2 recipients present their awards. So I invited the principal and the assistant principal at Williams School to introduce our 2 recipients, because they really are a team, and we couldn't just nominate one of them without nominating both of them. So I will turn them over to Ms. Maria Granada, who's our principal, and Christy Brooks, who's the assistant principal.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here this evening. Thank you, Chamber of Commerce. My turn is to introduce to you Vincent Gomez, a 5th grade teacher at Fred L. Williams Elementary School in South Oxnard. So what can I say about Vincent Gomez's impact on our community? Well, he teaches, he encourages, instructs, mentors, praises, influences, guides, and inspires. Just a couple of the things he does on a daily basis. He teaches those around him to be active participants in their learning and in life. We have no use for passive bystanders. We need upstanders instead. He encourages teachers and even new principals to see things from a different point of view. He's kind of like that boyfriend that breaks up with you, but he makes it sound like it's your idea. And then you don't know what happened exactly, but you feel okay about it. So that's Vincent. He's also our teachers union rep, so you would think that we would be kind of adversaries, but we're not. He's quite a team member. He encourages teachers. He instructs his ladies group at Home Depot on how to do it yourself and take charge of their tools to build something amazing, indirectly building a can-do spirit and increasing the ladies' self-esteem. He mentors young men in the classroom and even through his work at Home Depot, helping them to be able to give back to our Oxnard and Hueneme communities. He praises others in a selfless way and never expecting anything in return. He influences our school community by helping us organize staff bonding activities that help build camaraderie and build a positive school culture. He guides class after class, impacting dozens, hundreds, and thousands of youth who will become community citizens that will recall an educator who left a mark and empowered them to be people of good character, human beings who do the right thing when no one's watching. And finally, he inspires those around him. He and his longtime teaching partner inspire each other to take their lessons to the next level. He inspires me to be a better administrator, to take more risks, and to reach out to all of our school community members. And finally, he inspires kids. Just this month, we sat in a special education meeting, and we had a young man who struggled making friends. School had always been a challenge, and this boy just seemed lost. Well, he felt lost until he met Mr. Gomez. He now shares that he can't wait to go to college, a choice he didn't even know he had until he met this man. I proudly introduce to you Hueneme Chamber of Commerce Educator of the Year, Vincent Gomez.
Okay, I have to say, most of my audiences are like between 10 and 11, so I'll try not to bore you like I do them most days, but no, thank you very much for honoring us tonight, because this is, like somebody said, it's truly humbling to be recognized for what you love to do, and to Dr. Walker for nominating me, for my administrators who support us every day in what we do, is just letting us be creative with the kids and reaching out to the kids and find the ways that they learn. Teaching was not my first path in life, you know, when I was never excelled in school myself. So my sisters, I found out I was going to be a teacher. My wife's like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Who she also teaches in the district. She stood behind me. I mean, I was working full time, going to school full time, and then student teaching, so it was a lot on her plate. So I thank my wife a lot, because without her, there's no way I could have done that, you know. So for my wife, very much thank you, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. Like I said, and my partner, I can't, you know, without her, I mean, I've taught with a lot of great teachers in the district. We have a lot of wonderful teachers. I've been in a lot of schools and worked in a lot of our schools, but you're lucky when you find somebody in your grade level that you just connect with. And as long as I do what she says, my day's great. You know? No, I'm kidding. No, she's just really wonderful, and there's not a day that I get up and go like, man, I gotta go to work today. You know, it's like I'm there at 6 a.m. You know, some days I don't leave until 4:30, you know, because there's so much to do, and you just love being there. So, I mean, I thank Missy Hernandez a lot, because, you know, she makes every day great, and we find new ways of reaching kids every day. So, but thank you very much for honoring me today. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and it's such a pleasure to be here with everyone, all the recipients. Thank you to the Hueneme Chamber of Commerce for inviting us to celebrate this special event. And I am here to honor a colleague, Missy Hernandez. Mrs. was born, in my opinion, as an inspirational educator and leader, and as a Gryffindor. Yes, she loves Harry Potter. She totally does. She's passionate about making learning fun and meaningful to her students through her integrated units. As I travel down the hallway, I typically stop at platform 9 3/4, where Professor Hernandez is always engaged with her students, facilitating as they successfully collaborate on projects and activities. Is it me making the boom? Oh, it is me. Sorry. I was wondering, what is that little boom boom in the background? I know I ate, but you know. She takes a lot of pride in what her class, the students achieve, because she and like Mr. Gomez mentioned, they team together and it's a total win-win for the students. Our school community is totally blessed to have Professor Hernandez at Fred Williams School. Her caring and love for her students and our community does not go unnoticed. She has been instrumental in leading and coordinating our school carnival. And if she had that wand, I would have been turned into a frog along with other people, right? And she has been involved in writing our integrated units with other teachers from other schools. And finally, for bringing Hogwarts School to Fred Williams Elementary. Lastly, I would like to share the following. Today at our assembly, I shared with the students that Mrs. Hernandez and Mr. Gomez were going to receive an award. And the kids clapped and they were all excited, you know? So, and it was 2:15, so it was almost dismissal time. So, you know, see you, have a good spring break, dismissed all the students. So I'm sitting in my office and this little girl comes by. And she told me, you know what, Miss Burke? The reason why I thought they had won an award is because they were both good looking. Now, mind you, this child does wear glasses. Anyway, with that, please join me in inviting Professor Hernandez to celebrate. Yay!
Now I'm really nervous. I was laughing back there and I'm having fun watching everyone speak, but now I'm like, okay, I have this paper that I wrote during my lunchtime. Now I think I'm going to ditch that because, you know, as a teacher, you're going to have to do plan B, right? I was going to come up here and be funny and make fun of my colleague because that's what we do all day long, right? That's why I get excited when I go to work because then I have to go find lunch. I end up going to his room and I eat his lunch. As a teacher, it's a lot of work. Like they said, a vacation is not really a vacation. We were just talking about what am I going to do for my spring break? Oh yeah, Monday I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to clean my classroom. But we have passion. I love teaching. I love seeing those light bulbs turn on, and once in a while you cry when you see that kid, and you're like, oh my God, you got it. And every day we get up again and we do it all over again. And every year I'm always telling myself, why do you keep going? And my 3 boys, they inspire me every day to go up and teach these young people because my boys inspire me to be a good teacher, a good mother. And since they're all so different, I bring that in my classroom and I tell stories about them and funny stories, and they're like, oh my God, Mom, what do you tell them all that stuff? So, open house, actually, my students are like, can we meet those boys? Because you told a lot of good stories about them. So my boys did come, and it was an inspiration, and they inspired those kids, and they're like, we want to be just like your kids. And I just love what I do and inspiring students and creating fun stuff. Of course, I can't do it without my partner in crime over there, my brother from another mother. So, and thank you, Juliet, for sharing your husband. And sometimes we say, I'm the other wife. Actually, I'm the husband who's the wife. That's actually the truth. That's what they say. And if you go to my school, and they're like, no, that's the wife. So, like you said earlier, I mean, things are good as long as he does what I say. So. So thank you very much. It's been an honor.
When things go wrong, who do we always say should fix it? They. They should fix the roads. They should clean up the park. They should make the graffiti disappear immediately. They should give us better quality water. They should have more programs. Who is they? Well, they are the city employees, the ones who answer the calls we make to complain about anything that goes wrong in the city. Without city employees, nothing gets done. Nothing looks nice, and no services are provided. They do it every day, and it's a thankless job quite often. Tonight we honor their commitment to excellence that makes Port Hueneme one of the most beautiful and most desirable places to live in Ventura County. Please help me welcome Charles Cable to introduce our City Employee of the Year.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming. I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for setting this up. This is something that is important to all the honorees here, and I'm glad that you guys are coordinating something like this for all the attendees. My name is Charles Cable. I'm the principal engineer at the City of Port Hueneme. I work for the Public Works Department, and I oversee the Landscape Maintenance Division and the Engineering Division. Today it's my pleasure to announce Mr. Antonio Manja's Employee of the Year. He works for the Public Works Landscape Maintenance Division. He's worked for the Public Works Landscape Maintenance Division for about 30 years now. And in the short time I've worked with him, I can say he's a diligent employee, he's extremely dedicated, he's hardworking, and he can be relied upon to complete tasks in a timely manner, with minimal supervision. This year he was instrumental in clearing the creek. Among all his duties, when I'm passing around the city or out in the field, I know I can count on Antonio to get his work done. He has experience clearing the sand, taking care of our medians, our parks, and all our facilities. 30 years now, with 30 years of experience that Antonio has, needless to say, he's seen it all. 10 years ago, the Landscape Maintenance Division was made up of 12 people. Today, we're 6 people. I'm not sure where we would be if Antonio had decided to retire years ago, but I know it'd be very difficult. I don't know if we could continue with the tasks that we have. Antonio has a fire that still burns bright. Some people say normally when you slow down when you get older, but Antonio doesn't. He's a leader in the landscape division, and he trains all our employees. I can attest to that, and so do his colleagues. It could be that Antonio, being a resident of Port Hueneme for decades, cares about the city and gives 150%. But to me, either way, I don't question it. I appreciate it. Jeez, I'm sorry, guys. I'm glad he's still here and he hasn't retired. I hope he stays around for another 30 years. His co-workers are lucky. We're all lucky at the Landscape Maintenance Division, Public Works as well. So Antonio is more than deserving of Employee of the Year. And I can say this, if I had 7 Antonios, I wouldn't get a single complaint. So thank you, and thank you all for helping me honor him tonight.
What can I say? I want to say yes, thank you for everything. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Charles. And I think so. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, we're in the home stretch. Bear with me. Seth Godin said, "People do not buy goods and services. They buy relations, stories, and magic. And that's what this award is about. The people in our community who not only offer goods and services, but something more. Something you cannot get in a big box store, a giant industrial company, or a big chain restaurant. This is why the Hueneme Chamber of Commerce is so passionate about frequenting local business. We want to preserve those precious gems in our community who provide what we need with a little magic on the side. It's my honor to ask Mr. Total blank, Clint Lovinger. I don't know. The reviews are going to come in bad on this one, I think. Please help me welcome Clint to the stage to introduce our business person of the year.
Good evening, everybody. I'll try not to get too close to this. It is my honor and my privilege to introduce you to your business person of the year. Jessica Fuentes works with me at Ventura County Credit Union. I've worked with Jessica for over 11 years. When I started with the credit union, she was branch manager of our Oxnard branch, and about 5.5 years ago, 6 years ago, we endeavored to open a branch here in Port Hueneme, and we asked her to open it, and so grateful that she did. She's done a great job. She's an awesome leader. She epitomizes the credit union movement, which is, we say we're like a bank, except that we put our members first. Our mission is to improve the financial well-being of our members, and she lives out that mission every day, and to make sure her team does as well. In the 11 years I've worked with her, she's been a resource not only to myself, but to all of her peers, her colleagues, her team. She's just an incredible leader. She grew up here in Ventura County. She was born and raised here, lives in Oxnard. She has 3 sons, one of whom is out of the nest, but the other 2 are still at home with her. Tracy also told me to speak from the heart, so that's the end of my prepared remarks. I was thinking about what makes Jessica special, because you don't give this award to somebody who's not special. All the people that have been honored here tonight fit that bill, and so I had to really think about it. And she checks all the boxes. She's smart. She's a team player. She's a great leader. She's dedicated. But I think the thing that I really am most impressed with her, and those of you who know her can probably relate to this, she's very honest. She's someone who, when you ask her for her opinion, she's going to give it to you. She lives out that old saying, she says what she means what she says. And I respect that, especially in this day and age. The other thing, too, and a couple of honorees have said that they've been humbled by the award, and I know it is humbling. But I can tell you, and she may say the same thing, but I can tell you she's a very humble person. After she was notified that she was receiving this award, I was talking to her, and she genuinely didn't know why she was getting it. And that, I think that says everything you need to know about her. She's just a very sincere, humble person. So with that, it's my honor to introduce you to the Business Person of the Year, Jessica Fuentes.
Thank you, Clint. Good evening, everyone. I'm extremely honored to be receiving this award and grateful for the recognition. I'm sure that every other nominee for this award are just as deserving. I'm lucky to be surrounded by people who are passionate about giving back to the community as I am. I want to thank my CEO, Tracy, my boss, Clint, Marilyn, Alma, for mentoring me throughout my career. I'm lucky to work for a great organization that allows me to be involved in the community. Lastly, I want to thank my staff and my family for their support. Without them, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. Thank you.
Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." Our next award is all about those thoughtful, committed citizens of our community who find their passion in life and then find ways to live that out while making life better for the rest of us. They are the ones who give hours, days, and years of their lives doing things that not only bring them joy, but bring joy to others as well. They inform us, they advocate for us, they fundraise for causes that benefit us, and they do much of the work of society that needs to be done. But there isn't always a job description or a budget for. The Hueneme Chamber of Commerce has been honoring Citizens of the Year since 1959. I had a conversation with this earlier tonight with the back table about how long have we been doing this. And it occurred to me, it's been 60 years that we have been recognizing citizens in our community. And we're honored to have with us here tonight the award recipient from 1963, Mr. Jim Daniels. From 2010, Jonathan Sharkey. 2012, Don Hamilton. 2015, Johnny Lissman. Please help me welcome Ms. Donna Breeze to the stage, who will introduce our 2018 Citizen of the Year.
Oh, I'm a little bit nervous. I want to say good evening. Thanks to the Chamber, and a special thanks to Tracy for asking me to introduce my dear friend of 20 years or more. I don't even know how long it's been. I've called Beverly, to me, she's my friend. She's my fellow volunteer. She's my mentor. Sometimes she's been my life coach, and always an encourager or a discourager, depending on what I needed at the moment. But she's also been a wife to John for over 20 years. She's a mother, a grandmother, a sister, a dog mom to the most darling Yorkie ever, Chloe. But she's also a lot more than that. She's a PhD. She's been a professor at CLU for over 35 years, retired now, where she's, I'm sure, taught and inspired and mentored a lot of young adults in the art of communication. She's a published author of both two novels, a detective series that actually takes place in Port Hueneme, and 3 novels on politics and film. She's a newspaper columnist for both the Ventura County Star. She was for the Ventura County Star and for the LA Times. She was a radio show host. She managed a Senate campaign. And what maybe a lot of you guys don't know is that she is a volunteer of her time. She volunteers for the Port Hueneme Friends of the Library. We've volunteered together for a long time for the library, raising money. She volunteers for the Port Hueneme Historical Museum, and she volunteered on the sand sculpture contest for 4 years that we had in Port Hueneme. And she also takes her cute therapy dog, Chloe, to the convalescent homes and the adult daycare centers to visit with the residents. She was also the recipient of the People Making a Difference Award in 2016. And what I learned is she's been a traveler all over the world. She's a painter, which I don't think a lot of people know that, but she's a painter. And most importantly, she's an excellent cook. I love that. So I'm really honored and just so honored to be able to introduce to you the Citizen of the Year, Beverly Merrill Kelly.
See if I can get up here. I have a secret to tell you. I fell in love with Port Hueneme even before I fell in love with John. It was coming down Ventura Road, and I think you've all done that, where you see those beautiful trees, and then there was a beach, and it went on and on and on. And I sort of fell in love with John too. And then I fell in love with the people. And I couldn't believe how many wonderful people there are in this city. It's just amazing. And I got to meet, first of all, I got to meet Donna when we were bookies together. Now, what the heck is a bookie? We cleaned books. And some of them had interesting things on them, especially the children's books. We were always hoping it was chocolate, but we didn't know. So we would clean these books, and then we would sell them at the sales, and we had a great system, didn't we, Donna? And then Donna talks me into doing the sand sculpture contest, which was her idea, and it went on for 4 years. That was fun, too. And then we got on the board of the library, and after that, I got a chance to meet Larry. Now, if you ever meet Larry, you know what happens to you, okay? Well, Beverly, we really need someone who's a writer. That's me, I could write. And we did those storyboards, and it was a dream for any historian because you got to research original materials. You got to read letters that were written, 100 years ago, things like that. So I did a lot of the storyboards, and because I like to do marketing and public relations, I got to do social media. I am actually doing Facebook, and it's my job. So, in all, I've met beautiful people. I've been to dinners like this, and I am pleased to be a part of all of you who are being honored today. Thank you so much for this, and thank you to the Chamber of Commerce.
Go the extra mile. It's never crowded. The Chairman's Award is all about those who do just that. They go above and beyond. They are the ones who ask themselves daily, how can they contribute, not just how can they benefit. They do their jobs and then some. They serve the community, but not for personal gain or for recognition. They do it because it's who they are. It's not in them to do things halfway. They give their all in whatever they do, and their commitment to bettering our community shows, whether it's a job they get paid for or volunteer work, oftentimes both. We notice these people in organizations because it is a rare thing to give or do more than what's expected. Booker T. Washington said, "Those who are happiest are those who do the most for others." If this is true, then our Chairman's Award recipients are surely the happiest people in the room on awards nights. To help me introduce the 2018 Chairman's Award winning organization, please help me welcome Mayor Pro Tem Laura Hernandez.
Thank you, Tracy, and thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for holding tonight's event. It's been wonderful, and congratulations to all the awardees and the families, and
Good evening, friends. It is my honor tonight to help present the Chairman's Award to the Port Hueneme Police Officers Association, and in doing so, honor all the men and women and families of the Port Hueneme Police Department. We are here to recognize the important work they do and the outstanding contributions they have made to our community. I believe the men and women of the Port Hueneme Police Department and their families share a commitment to something larger than themselves. Their job is hard, dangerous, and stressful, yet they suit up every day and do their job professionally, fairly, and bravely. I believe the reward comes in knowing that our way of life here at Port Hueneme depends on the rule of law that they are responsible for maintaining. Yet their job is often one where the simple words, "thank you," are rarely heard, especially from those who need it the most. Well, tonight, we are saying thank you. We are saying we recognize your work and we appreciate your contribution to our community. You have gone beyond the call of duty by demonstrating the many contributions you have made to the quality of life that we enjoy here in Port Hueneme. The POA has proudly served our community for almost 30 years. They are active and every year they donate money and time to benefit numerous charities, groups, and organizations in Port Hueneme and throughout Ventura County. I'm going to read you a list of contributions they've made to our community. I'll try to keep it short for the sake of time, and being the last speaker, I'm sure you'd appreciate that. But most of all, I want to say that these contributions that they've made to our community are positive interactions between people who may not have always a positive experience with our police department. In fact, sometimes it's just downright tragic and negative. But when they come out and visit our schools, work with our youth, contribute their time and volunteer to our community, they're creating a positive interaction that brings our community together and strengthens the relationship between our community and law enforcement. So most recently, they've contributed to the Cops for Tots Christmas program. Over 1,000 children receive gifts, and that's especially important for our youth to grow up learning to have a positive interaction with our police department. They've contributed to the Boys and Girls Club annual gala event, the Hueneme Chamber of Commerce Christmas holiday program, City Impact First Responder Golf Tournament, hosted by Michael Reagan, former President Ronald Reagan's son, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, Special Olympics Torch Run, Dr. Seuss Read Across America program, the Port Hueneme Explorers program, a fine example of youth growing up and learning how to administer the law, Port Hueneme Senior Citizen Christmas Dinner, recognition luncheon for volunteer reserves and explorers, turkey dinners, and they've provided toys to needy families for Christmas, and provided school supplies to Boys and Girls Club during the infamous police lip sync challenge. If you haven't seen it, you have to watch that. I think I've watched it over 100 times. Cops and Jocks, and within the last few years, our association bought and delivered a bicycle to a young bicycle theft victim, and they replaced the bicycle with a new one. They've also purchased former city employee parents with meals and groceries when their groceries were stolen a few years ago. I would like to invite Sergeant Eric Starna and Detective Mike Hemrick to come up and receive this award. Maybe they want to say a few words?
Okay. Is this thing on? All right. I know all you guys want to get out of here. On behalf of our association, we want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for recognizing us. The Chairman's Award, obviously, it's very special to us. Just so you guys know what the Police Officers Association does, we represent the members, the men and women of our police department. We represent them in some of their legal defense issues that they have. We deal with the city on our contract negotiations. We fight for them for those types of issues. And we do a lot of the community outreach. And I'll be honest with you, as Tracy mentioned, giving back to the community is the most rewarding part of our job in a positive light, because oftentimes doing this job for 27 years, I can tell you that I've seen the dark side of the world a lot more often than the good side. So I'd like to thank, obviously, my supportive family, my beautiful wife, my sons, these two of my oldest sons here. Doing this job for 27 years, it's a huge, strong support system that's kept me in the business and kept me in the game. I love the men and women of the police department, helping them, serving them. I have a great team. Our board, I'd like to thank them. Eric Starna, Vice President. Baltazar Tapia is on our board. Mike Galvan, Will Stevenson. There's been a whole host of other individuals that throughout our, within our police department that also contribute their time, and I'd like to recognize them as well and thank them. Thank the first responders, our military. This whole room is filled with just great people, and appreciate all of your service. Our teachers, everyone. We truly love giving back to the community. I do think that it's beyond the 40 or 50 hours a week that we do work. I appreciate their selfless acts of giving back, and truly appreciate it. So thank you very much. Thank you for the board for recognizing us. We truly appreciate it. So. Anything, Eric? Oh, okay. Enjoy your evening. Thank you.
All right. Oh, wow. That concludes our program for the evening. I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone again for being here. I'd also like to thank our sponsors, Southern California Edison, Ventura County Credit Union, Wheelhouse Plaza, the Port of Hueneme. We are truly blessed to have the support of our community, and each of you here who took the time out of your night, not just to share and celebrate your loved one, but to take the time to celebrate all of those who give to our community. Silent auction has closed. We'll be helping you check out. In your program in the back, there's a couple of quick announcements. Tomorrow at the Wheelhouse Plaza is the street fair. If you have nothing to do between 11 and 5, we'd love to have you come over and have food trucks, vendors, community booths. Chamber will be out there as well. But more importantly, just have a safe drive home. Food trucks are coming back to Port Hueneme on April 9th down at the beach. Somebody hopefully is taking home a foodie basket with gift certificates to our food trucks that will be coming. And if you're a planner, December 5th on a Thursday, holiday tree lighting right in front of City Hall. So have a great night. Thank you again, and we hope to see you at the next event.